Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to be recreating some bells and creating some from scratch and recreating some for you. These are some simple bells that you can make, except for the ones that, anyone can make it if you have the tools, but here is just a little sneak peek into what kind of bells I've made and recreated. You can probably find some of these on Amazon or on Pottery Barn or Marshalls or Home Goods or anywhere that you like to shop for home decor, because they do for sure have ones that look similar to these, but I put a little twist on them for myself because this is what I'd like to do. And of course, as with everything, a lot of these materials are from the Dollar Tree. So let's get going. Okay, so this first set of bells is probably my favorite. What I'm doing is using these little tin containers from the Dollar Tree. They're part of those favor things that you can put in, like the little pails, and you can put favors in at weddings and baby showers. These are actually from my own wedding that were left over. We got married in 2009 here. We had 3 weddings, but the wedding in Canada was in 2009. So, yeah, that was a long time ago, and I've kept them for a long time, but they were pink. So what I did was I had painted them before silver for another project. It was actually for my DIY advent calendar, but I wound up buying some burlap sacks for that. So I am reusing them once again for these bells. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use some of this acrylic gold paint from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to dab it on with a makeup brush, just roughly all around. I'm not covering it. I just want it to kind of look a little bit dirty. So you just dab on, and because it is so shiny and so smooth, it does come off, but just dab it on and then leave it, and dab it on and leave it, and then it will stick. I also add some tan to that as well. And again, do the dab it on, leave, and then I spray the inside, and I'll show you that in the next clip, with a black spray paint, and it's just so that they're not pink anymore. And I purposely kind of did it after I put some of the gold on so that the black would splatter on the inside as well, so it just gives them a more vintage vibe, because the black paint will splatter a little bit. So again, then I go back, once everything is dry, I go back and I add a little bit of black, a little bit of tan, a little bit of gold, and a little bit of red acrylic paint onto my little mat there. And then I dab and paint and wipe off as much as I want to get my look that I'm looking for, which is kind of like a vintagey, old, rustic look. If you've watched my channel before, you know I love that kind of look, and I still love it. I've loved it for so many years, and I still love it. And even the other day I was looking at what I wanted to redo a dresser for my son, and he wanted blue and green, and I found some really neat ideas of it looking really vintage. I won't do that for his room, but I still always lean to that vintage rustic vibe. So anyway, dab on, dab off, wipe on, wipe off, until you get the desired look. Once you have achieved the look that you're going for, then you can let them dry and then you can drill a hole through them. Now, I was not allowed to drill a hole by myself. My husband did not trust me with certain tools and he was afraid that I would probably cut myself. I am pretty much an accident waiting to happen at all times. So he took over and he drilled some holes into these, and then I did the rest. Just make sure when you are drilling you put something like a piece of wood like I did here underneath, so that way it doesn't go through your surface. Okay, and then I used some jute rope and I put that through and I kind of fiddled around with them so I would get the look that I was going for. So what I wound up doing is adding a little tape to the string, then adding a bead, tying it into a knot, like putting it through, tying it into a knot so the bead doesn't fall off. And then I also tied it into a knot at the top, and then I cut off a longer string, and then I attached another bell to a string, and I kind of strung them all. Hopefully it makes sense. I'm not going to speed this part up so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to speed this next part up and zoom it out a little bit more, so hopefully you can get even a better idea of what I did. But I think up until now you probably got the idea of what exactly I did with these bells and how I completed them. And I forgot to mention the little beads I had from leftover from a thrift store that I bought them, but you can use any kind of beads or round things in there that you have. I just chose to use these because I had them. And then at the end, I just tied a bit of a longer string at the top so that, and then I made a little loop so that you could hang it wherever you'd like to. I haven't decided if they're going to go on my mantle, if they're going to go on my banister, or if I'm just going to have them hang on a door. I haven't decided yet. You will see here, I've hung them on a black door because I think they look gorgeous next to the black door, all finished. But again, I'm not sure if where exactly I will be keeping them yet. I'm not done my decorating, which I was hoping to be, but I wound up ordering some greens off of online, and hopefully I can get everything done this week because it's bothering me. So anyway, here they are all finished. I love, 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 love how they turned out. Let me know what you think. And if it's something that you might recreate. Now, I was originally going to use pots for these, like little mini pots, but I couldn't find them. I had them left over from summer, but I couldn't find them. So just to show you that you can use anything. You don't have to use these tin ones, but they do look cute. So on to this next DIY, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I had this idea in my head, and now looking back, I always seem to like to reflect on my DIYs. So looking back, I would have used jute rope instead of the burlap, but live and learn. So I'm starting off with these bells from the Dollar Tree that I had left over, actually probably from like about 2 years ago. I had an idea of something to do with them, but I never got around to it. And you can get them now, even I've seen them there now. So I'm just removing all of the greenery from them, and I will be revamping them to make them look even better. I don't really like the way they look right now. So to start off, I will be spray painting them. Sorry, I'm lying to you. I'm not going to be spray painting them. I'm going to be covering them with the burlap. As I said, I would have, maybe should have used jute rope, but that's okay. So I had these little burlap ribbons that I cut in half so that I could make these strings, and I just go kind of make like a weave pattern with them. The first one I just did a crisscross, and the second one I actually weaved them through. And I just used hot glue to glue these on. Now, because of the shape, you'll have to add a little bit extra and press down a little bit more. So make sure you're not like me and you're using something like one of the little finger covers for hot glue or whatever. So that way you don't burn yourself. And that's all there is to this part of it. So again, just weave as you need to. So once you're done weaving and hot gluing and everything is set and not hot to the touch anymore, then you can go ahead and spray paint these. So I spray painted these originally kind of like a bronzy browny color, and I thought I might leave them that way, but I didn't like the way that color looked. It was almost too shiny. So then I went ahead and I redid it again. Now, reflecting again, I probably would have painted the bells first in a more like a lighter color, and then put the jute twine over top, and it would have looked a little bit better, I think. But I wanted it to, see, I wanted it to be thicker. That's why I went with this. But anyway, you'll see what it looks like. So here's the paint that I used. I just used this Rust-Oleum high heat paint, and this is what they turned out after I spray painted them. So there was just too much of like a poo brown. I don't know. I didn't like the way they look. So then I thought, okay, I'm gonna kind of put a little bit of gold, put a little bit of black, and it'll look better. And I still wasn't happy with how it turned out. So then I went and I spray painted them black over top. And I didn't do like a super full coverage. I just I spray painted and made sure everything was covered, but I didn't worry too much about whether like it was perfectly covered. I wanted some of the brown to peek out. So once the black dried out, I added more of these strips because I felt like the basket weaving was missing something. This is why I think the jute rope would have been nicer, and that was my first instinct, was to cover them in jute rope, but then I don't know, for whatever reason I decided to do this. I think I saw some inspiration somewhere, or I saw someone, I don't know, I in my head I felt like the thicker strips would be better, but now, like, reflecting on it, I think it would have been better with the jute rope. But I still think they turned out okay, and they turned out cute, but it just was a little bit more work than I would have wanted it to be for this project. So again, I wasn't too concerned about covering it completely with the acrylic paint. Like, I wanted it to be covered, but I didn't mind some of the brown showing through because it gave them more of like a rustic look, or like a aged look. So once I did all of that, I attached them to just another piece of jute rope, and so that I could hang them. I'm not sure where they'll go. I may separate them, I may put them together, maybe they'll go on a tray. Like I said for my previous ones, I haven't quite decided what I'm putting where. But here they are, all finished. Again, I think they turned out okay. They do look quite cute. They look better than the gold ones for sure. You see some of the stuff showing through, the brown, the black, and all the different colors, which is kind of my style. So let me know what you think of these. They're not my favorite, but I think they still turned out okay. Okay, so for these last ones, I tried something completely different. I got myself a new toy. An expensive toy and probably an expensive hobby, but I still love it. So what I did was I created cowbells on on Tinkercad to put on my 3D printer so that I could 3D print cowbells. I have never created any designs before, so of course I made a mistake. I should have made that hollow. It would have used a lot less material, and I should have made it a little bit taller. So what I did, these took a really long time because it was my very first print. So it took a long time to create. The top of the smaller one didn't turn out, and there was actually a third bell that for some reason didn't stick to the plate. Not sure why. So I just went with 2 bells because it took 3 hours for this to print. So I didn't want to attempt another bell. But what I did do is I reprinted just a ring for each one of these, which is kind of what I should have done in the first place, a ring with like a top. But anyway, I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for on any designs that were free or that I could use. So I thought I'd create my own, and I'm still happy that I did. I would love to get to a point where I could create a ton of designs and create all this stuff. So I created these to look like cowbells. You can obviously use even tins for this. If you have cans, like larger cans, you could use these for the cowbells for sure, and then just attach a top to something. Attach some sort of top. It could be just like even like one of those little clamps that you can buy at the hardware store. So for these guys, for the smaller one, because the top didn't print, I used the little handles from the pails from the first project, and I just put them together, hot glued them, and made them a little bit thicker. And then I also hot glued the other part of my bell. But before I did that, I painted this in an espresso brown. Again, I'm not super concerned about the brown fully covering this because I'm going to be adding layers of paint to it, just like I did with the first bells, to make it look a little bit more rustic, a little bit more antique, a little bit more old and aged and roughed up. So once the O printed, the little O rings that I created to make this a little bit longer, I wound up hot gluing everything together and adding just like a little layer of hot glue around too, just to give it a little bit more thickness. And then I painted everything again. Now the bottom I painted a black and brown, and what I did was I mixed it up to the top, and then I just took a paper towel and I just kind of blended it all together to give it that rustic look. So this is again the espresso and black acrylic paint that I'm using, and I'm painting the bottom and the inside of everything so that it's all covered. And as you can see, I hot glued the little metal pieces from the other project on top. Now with that, I hot glued them together, but I put them flat on, I think you can see it there, I think I did show it to you. I put them flat on my little mat, and then I added a thick layer of the hot glue. So actually the hot glue gives it a little bit more thickness too. And then I hot glue that to the top as well. Once I had the perfect blend of black and brown, I went back, I let it dry fully, and then I went back and I added a little bit of gold to it, just in little spots, just to make it look, again, so I wanted it to look like it was kind of like a goldy brassy color at one point, but then it rusted because of all the elements, and then it kind of looked old and aged and rustic. So I wound up doing that, like I said, once it all dried. And then I also, to the bottom, added one of those beads to each one of those. Now, those beads came in brown and black, so I just took 2 black beads. And what I did was I put some string in them. I hot glued it so that it would stay in. And then I hot glued it to the top so that it would stay. I could have drilled probably a hole into the thing and then strung it through, but it didn't need to do that. So I just hot glued it, because these aren't functional bells. They're just for decorative purposes. So I did that. I attached it to the bottom of each one of those, and again went back and added more color in some spots where I felt like it needed some more color, and let it dry. Then I attached a thicker rope to each of the bells and made a knot at the top, and then I attached the bells together, made a big knot, and then did a loop at the top so that I could again hang these bells up. And these ones I wanted to be like the first ones, where they kind of hang one on top of one on top of the other, instead of one beside the other. And if I feel up to it later on and I want to make a few more to add to this, I just attach it to the strings. But the jute rope that I used was significantly thicker than the one that I used for the other ones, just because these are a little bit bulkier. And that's all there is to it. I'll show you what they look like. I think they turned out really nice. I wasn't sure how they would turn out. I was really worried. I thought I might not even show them in the video, but I'm really happy with how they turned out. I'm glad I stuck with it, and I'm glad I added another layer to them so that they would be a little bit longer. All right, let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm really happy with how these guys turned out. They look great on that black, against that black, and I do think that they look like they're rusty and old, and they've been well used. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I was feeling a little bit uninspired with Christmas. I don't know why. I felt like I was 100% in for Halloween, and then Christmas came around, and I want to, but I just felt a little bit inspired, but I feel like I've got my groove back. So hopefully you guys like this video and you give me a big thumbs up, leave me lots of comments, so that way I get even more inspiration. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Stay safe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the fun stuff, and share it with your friends. Thank you. Have a great day.